I wanted to break down the distinctions between an individual person, human being, versus a man or a woman. I've not written man or woman down because the only definitions that I could find would be around gender or sex, which are written, and common law is of the highest law because it is unwritten, because we are above what is written, which is in the public. So individual, as a noun, this term denotes a single person as distinguished from a group or class, and also very commonly a private or natural person as distinguished from a partnership, corporation, or association, which is oftentimes what the definition of artificial persons goes under. And if we didn't think that if this is all new to you, you maybe want to go back over just to really understand calling yourself an individual is not in your best interest if you understand who you truly are and how that comes with roles, limitations, liabilities, and obligations. And then person is a Latin breakdown for persona, compounded per, which is through or by, and sonus, which is sound, because you speak it. And so it is a Latin word signifying primarily a mask used by actors on the stage. And if we actually are ourselves, we don't need to be represented on the stage. We can be ourselves wherever we are. Human beings, that we think we're all human beings, and I often add an extra E for energy because I believe that it is all hues included when we actually do that and what we need to return back to. That's my BS. Take it, leave it, work with it, see how it sits and fits. I'm not attached. But by definition, human being means monster. So a human being by birth, but in some part resembling a lower animal, because a human being is a creation, and whoever owns the creation is the one who defines it, and also can decide that it has no inheritable blood and cannot be heir to any land. So when you drop your standing from being a man or woman, then you are losing rights, liabilities, responsibilities. Well, you're incurring liabilities and responsibilities. But this is actually a document that I've used in my case. And the C is missing from this, but the compared to and CF are here to show that CF stands for to confer or compare. And CF is a signal indicating that the cited source supports a different claim than the one just made, and that it is worthwhile to compare the two claims and assess the difference. The reason it's only compared to is because as a woman in my private capacity with all rights reserved, this is a lower standing than what I actually have. And in what in the claim that I've made, I've supported or I've put forward a list of definitions to be used in Laura Hamilton's court of law, because ultimately that is what is required in order to settle this matter. But person, by definition, includes the definition of a trust or a trustee or other person that administers the property of another, an executor, administrator, or other legal representative. Represent, because you are no longer a man or a woman. I am no longer a man or a woman if I accept being my person. I have a person. I am not a person. I am a woman. And when we make that distinction in our head and we get really clear about it, then we understand why language is being used against us.
War is more than a medal. It says it right there where we're all standing, and what we all need to understand is that when things don't go the way that we planned, we have to make adjustments, which is why I'm speaking on this instead of the system that we were using. But the reason that I wanted to speak is because every single one of us who have come today and every single one of us who are not, this is the thing, we are all us. It is not an us versus them thing. This is all of us on the same team. It's just what side of the spectrum are we at? And what I wanted to say is that if we haven't claimed our rights, we don't have it. If we haven't written our rights down, what we're doing right now makes us open cons. I got a summons for speaking at a rally in April, 2.5 weeks after the summit, or after the event. So rights that we think that we do. And we need to make a lawful notice as men and women who are actually claiming our standing as men and women. If we stay as statuses, what's your private medical information? That's a status. What's your employment status? A personage is a status. If we are going as statuses, we are not standing. There's a transhumanism agenda because we are less powerful when we are not who we truly are, which is men and women. Men and women are what are standing here today, some with children. All of us are advocating for the children. All of us are advocating for the future. And so I say, if we haven't claimed our right to stand, please reach out. I have a group called Peaceful Inner Warriors United, and I will be sharing information with lawful notices that you can use as a template, not because this is an organized anything, because organized civil, legal, commercial argument litigants was a definition for a vexatious litigant that Meads versus Meads case in 2012 started. And if we are grouped into groupthink, we're no longer, I am a woman. But as a group, I am just one of the group, and that's how they depersonalize us. We need to claim our right to stand as men and women and protect ourselves, because if we're not protected, they can come after any of your person, which is not who you are. And this is what we need to understand. We have standing as men and women. We have a status when we agree to be the creation of the government, which is the mind control, and we know that all of what's going on is not okay. But if we don't claim our rights, if we just complain about what's going on, we stay in the victim spectrum. And we're not victims. We don't need to be victims. There are a lot of victims, and there will be a lot of casualties and fatalities from all of this. But if we don't claim our rights to stand, then that's how those internment camps can be filled up with us. And it's not just us who are standing here and actually speaking out against what's happening. It's anybody that doesn't comply down the line too. Because Martin Lemolier's poem, first they came for these ones, but I wasn't one of them. And then they came for those ones, but I wasn't one of them. And then they came for my neighbors, but I was scared and I didn't want to get involved. And then they came for me and there was no one left. So let us not get to that point. And let us stand together. So thank you for showing up. Equality is more than a medal.
Okay, Deep Coast Fair.